Jesus said, "My sheep hear my voice. I know them, and they follow me. I give them eternal life, and they shall never perish. No one can take them out of my hand. My Father, who has given them to me, is greater than all, and no one can take them out of the Father's hand. The Father and I are one." The Gospel of the Lord.
Praise to you, Lord Jesus Christ. I know you all are a little old for this, but did you ever play Follow the Leader? Clueless, just clueless. Those of us who were older had to figure out ways to entertain ourselves when we were growing up. And Follow the Leader was one of the games. It was a simple game. Somebody was the leader, everybody else fell in behind, and you just imitated whatever the leader did or went, which was a fun game until the leader did something like jumping off of a table that caused somebody to get hurt, which got everybody into trouble, and then the game came to an end. Follow the Leader often went south when the leader didn't take into account the welfare of those being led. Today we hear in the gospel the Good Shepherd. And the sheep were great at playing Follow the Leader. Sheep have a herd mentality that looms large in their brains. If sheep are in a line walking in a row and you place a barrier in front of one of them, causing them to either step up or jump over, then all the sheep following will do the same thing. Even if you take the barrier away, they will continue to jump just because the one in front of them did it. Growing up in Galilee, Jesus would have known shepherds and sheep. He would have seen that interaction that takes place between the two. It's probably the same interaction that takes place today. I was reading a travel book. I love reading travel books. And this guide was talking about running into a shepherd and his herd of sheep while on the Italian Alps. And the two stopped to chat. The conversation lasted just long enough that some of the sheep began to wander off. And so the travel guide noted that the shepherd then began to whistle a different tune. And with each tune, an individual sheep's head would pop up from the grass. They'd look around, find the shepherd, and return to the fold. Jesus uses this imagery of shepherd and sheep to describe the relationship that exists between he and us. I am the good shepherd. My sheep hear my voice. It's refreshing to think of the Lord as shepherd. One thing it means is that he's not one of us. He's different from us. And he walks ahead of us. He doesn't drive us from behind, pushing and prodding. He's the one who knows where we're headed, and he leaves us to come in behind him. As a shepherd, he won't run out on us in times of danger, even when we're the ones who create the danger. He sticks with us. He's the shepherd that leads the way. He leads us home, back to the Creator, the giver of our lives. And when we sheep are smart, when we're doing our best, we have our ears open to the sound of the shepherd's voice with a willingness to step in behind him and follow where he leads. Who in your life has been that leader? The one who has walked before you. The one who has been concerned about your safety and security as you made the way. Who is that person that's given their life in service for you? For many of us, that person has been our mother, who we honor today as some of the most important women in our lives. Everyone in this room either is one or has one. Statistics tell us that 86% of all women in the United States will become mothers before they reach the age of 44. Statistics also tell us that on Mother's Day, we will generate $19.9 billion to our nation's economy. And that Mother's Day, the day before Mother's Day, is the busiest day for car washes throughout the country. We give a lot of thought to mothers. A second grade teacher had just finished teaching her class a lesson about magnets. And so the next day, she gave a test. And one of the questions was, my full name has 6 letters. The first letter is M. I pick up things. Well, she was amazed when she collected the test and found out that 50% of them answered that question with the word mother. She's always around. She can't get too far from us, be they living or deceased. A group of kindergartners were asked a set of questions about their mothers. Their first question was, how did God make a mother? And one answered, He used clouds and angel hair and everything nice in the world. And then he added a dab of mean. The question went on to ask, what kind of little girl was your mother? Which seemed to confuse one boy. He said, my mom has always been my mom. She was never a little girl. But one boy who understood that process of growing up said, I don't know what kind of little girl she was. I wasn't there. But I guess she was bossy. And when asked about the relationships between moms and dads, they were asked, why did your mom marry your dad? And one girl knew immediately it was because her dad likes spaghetti and her mother makes the best spaghetti in the world. Well, another boy who obviously was used to overhearing conversations said, my grandmother says that my mom married my dad because she didn't have her thinking cap on. And finally, when asked if there was one thing they would change about their mother, one boy said, she has a weird thing of keeping my room clean. I'd get rid of that. And another admitted, I'd make my mom smarter. Then she'd know it was my sister who did it, not me. So today we honor mothers. In many ways, the good shepherds of our lives. They lead us by word and example. And when we're wise, we follow their lead. They are the women who have had the most profound impact on who we are, the values that we hold, the impressions that we have of ourselves, and how we fit in on life's journey. They are the first relationship of our lives that is defined by that commitment until death do us part, which is the sad reality. Our relationships with our moms does part. They're the women who have given most of their lives helping us, their children, to get ready for one thing or another. And moms, you do it best when you help us to get ready for heaven, to get ready for that one relationship that does not end, that union with God, which is eternal, which is the reason for which we were made. Moms, you do it best when you help us to keep our ears open to Jesus and then kick us to get behind him and follow the leader. And so today we honor you and we thank you for being there for us on this side of the grave and on the other, where we know that you're still pushing for us and working to make us successful on the journey to the fullness of life. So I'd like to ask all mothers, if you would please stand, that we can thank you and ask God's blessing for you. And now would everyone please stand with them while we ask God's blessing.